Okay.
Look at this face. Now look at it closer. This is a woman who just heard something she needed to hear. Something that she wholeheartedly agrees with. With 0 words, she just explained the exact reason why she cannot, under any circumstances, no matter how positive her impact on the WNBA may be, celebrate a certain player. And this expression is only a part of an interview filled with conflict. The conflict? Well, it wasn't with the podcasters. I'll get to that shortly. On a day that should have been celebrated across the WNBA, Sheryl Swoopes was showing her CAIT HATE MVP form once again in a recent interview. You've got to hear and see what she said on what was arguably the biggest day for Caitlin Clark, her fans, and the WNBA. I'm breaking it all down because this interview says it all about Sheryl and how she really feels. She left it all on the table, and it looks like the CAIT hate is going nowhere this season. Or ever. Okay, here's what happened. Caitlin Clark was just named Times Athlete of the Year, the first WNBA player to earn this prestigious recognition. Now this should be a celebration. I mean, what a landmark moment and a golden PR opportunity for the WNBA, with its star once again front and center in the news, being celebrated for her impact on the league's growth. And this is on the heels of Caitlin being named to the Forbes 30 Under 30 list, another stellar PR piece for both her and the league. The WNBA is getting the most attention it's ever received. Record attendance, record viewership, record merch sales. It was estimated that Caitlin accounted for nearly 27% of the WNBA's economic activity. One player driving a quarter of a league's revenue? That's insane. 2024 has been a great year for the WNBA. Everything is trending upward. Know what else is trending upward? Sheryl Swoopes' blood pressure anytime Caitlin Clark gets an award, or praise, or does anything positive for that matter. And Caitlin being named Times Athlete of the Year was no different. Sheryl was recently on the Gills Arena podcast when the news broke of Caitlin's award. When Sheryl was asked for her instant reaction, with no time to think or draft her talking points, she gave the most honest and telling reactions.
Sheryl, I'll start with you. What's your reaction to Caitlin Clark winning Time Magazine Athlete of the Year?
I don't think I'm surprised.
Whoa, who is this? Sheryl 2.0? She's not surprised Caitlin won. Is she about to celebrate a Caitlin Clark achievement for once? Grab your popcorn, folks. Here comes the big moment.
I'm curious to know who the other candidates were.
In less time than it takes Angel Reese to miss a layup, then grab her own rebound, Sheryl wanted to know who Caitlin was up against. More on why that matters in a minute. Now, to Sheryl's credit, she did go on to say how special it was for a WNBA player to win. Anyone with a pulse knows how great this is for the league, the game, and all the young girls who this award will inspire. This is the kind of PR that keeps the momentum going and benefits all players when it comes to sponsorships, pay, and recognition. But in a classic Sheryl move, she undid anything resembling praise immediately.
My question is, like the criteria, is it based off of her performance on the court, which, yeah, she had a great year, or is it more about the impact that she had on the game this season?
And there it is. She's challenging the award itself and what it values. By asking, was it given to the best player or just the most popular one, she's strongly implying that Caitlin is not the best player in the league. It doesn't matter that Caitlin was Rookie of the Year, set the single-season assists record, broke the single-season points record for a guard, was fourth in MVP voting, and dragged her bottom-feeding team into the playoffs, all in her first season. Yeah, that was exciting to watch. But Sheryl clearly thinks someone more deserving was overlooked in favor of Caitlin's popularity. And her response to Caitlin's remarks about her privilege reinforces this, and why she'll probably never celebrate Caitlin. Even if you disagree with Caitlin's stance, it's Sheryl's response you've got to see.
But Sheryl, when you hear that, thoughts on Caitlin Clark saying she wants to use her platform to elevate black women in the WNBA have been instrumental, obviously, in building that league to what it is.
You're goddamn right.
See that nod? That's it right there. That's her Heisenberg moment. She clearly agrees with what Caitlin said, that the people who should be celebrated are the players who built the league, not Caitlin. Gee, guess who one of those players is? This explains everything. Sheryl can't take that after nearly 3 decades. It's Caitlin who fans are going nuts for. She can't handle that Caitlin is the one who brought the WNBA into the mainstream. But to feel that way is to discount Caitlin's accomplishments which have driven her popularity. Setting the NCAA all-time scoring record, logo threes and buzzer beaters, leading Iowa to 2 straight championship games, then carrying her momentum into the WNBA and continuing to deliver the goods, even with the doubters and the haters, and the cheap shots, and the Olympic snub. She only got better and more impactful as the season progressed. But none of this matters to Sheryl. She's not content being a Hall of Famer who inspired the players who ultimately inspired Caitlin. Caitlin's getting the credit for transforming the league, and Sheryl isn't. And when she nods to approve of Caitlin's statement, she's likely also nodding on behalf of many other players who she feels don't get their due. So, who does Sheryl think deserves more credit?
Probably LeBron from his Olympics, plus,
Remember when Sheryl talked about whether Time's Athlete of the Year award was based on performance?
I mean, hell,
from the season Olympics.
put Asia Wilson in there.
Her bringing Asia into the mix screams that she doesn't think Caitlin is worthy of the award. It should be going to the MVP. And don't get me wrong, Asia is incredible. A champion, an MVP, and was statistically dominant last season. Nobody is questioning that, nor are they questioning her impact on the game and league. The league needs its stars to put forth a competitive and exciting product, and she is among the brightest in the game today. As her nodding earlier in the interview suggested, Sheryl likely thinks Caitlin is getting privileged treatment that isn't deserved at Asia's expense. But really? Not deserved? Everything about Caitlin's full body of work, which, need I remind you, she's only 22, supports the praise and fandom she received. I mean, how about breaking the college record book? Shooting three-pointers from so far away that you feel like you're watching Dude Perfect? The buzzer beaters and clutch performances? Is that not deserving of hype? Of respect? While it pains the haters, the momentum that she ultimately carried into the WNBA was earned. And with the weight of the world on her shoulders, she delivered in her first year. It would actually be faster to list the records she didn't break in her rookie season. And yeah, she's not accomplishing all of this at 31 or 27. She's 22. She is at the start of her WNBA career. You can feel that she's only getting better. I mean, look at her stats after the Olympic break. She was averaging more than 23 points per game while still leading the league in assists. That's MVP level. And in turning down Unrivaled, she's going to get the rest she needs, between photo shoots and screaming at refs at Iowa games, to come back for her sophomore season in even better form. In fact, I would bet 1,000,000 internet points that her rivalry with Angel Reese is dead by the end of 2025, despite the league desperately trying to push this Bird versus Magic narrative. And sure, Angel had a strong first year. It's clear she's just not at Caitlin's level. This next season will only further separate them. And don't get me started on that lone Rookie of the Year vote by some mysterious person who in no way would vote for Angel just to keep Caitlin from having a unanimous vote. Which brings us back to Sheryl Swoopes and a simple question. When will the jealousy end? The sad answer, it won't. Caitlin could win 5 championships, 7 MVPs, and break every record, and there would still be bozos finding holes in her resume. They'll claim she was surrounded by the best players, or that she had too many turnovers, or that she wasn't a good teammate. The more she accomplishes, the more ridiculous the talking points. At the end of the day, Caitlin can't do anything about it. The response and attention she's getting, good and bad, is because of what she does on the court. Ultimately, as much as Sheryl hates it, Caitlin is elevating the league and women's basketball. Remember how I said Sheryl's in a conflict? It's with herself. As much as it pains her, she knows Caitlin is good for the game. She accounted for 26.5% of the WNBA's economic activity in her first season. Her games account for 45% of total viewership. She's filling 15,000 plus seat arenas. 1 out of 6 tickets sold is directly attributable to Caitlin. The fans have spoken with their time, attention, and wallets. And none of the CAIT hate coming from a handful of players and media personalities can take away from the legacy she's building.